Today, Tracy Tully is proud to be launching her mother's book, Come Fly With Me on DC. Today, Tracy Tully is launching her mother's book, Come Fly With Me on a DC-3. Joy Allardyce was born on Armistice Day in 1930. Her love of flying began in her teens when she travelled on a DC-3 to Evans Head in northern New South Wales. So when Trans-Australian Airlines, then known as TAA, advertised for young ladies interested in becoming an air hostess, Joy applied and was accepted, thereby becoming what was affectionately known as a hostie. Come Fly With Me on a DC-3 is about the flying days of all those dedicated hosties who crewed the intrepid DC-3 when they worked single-handed without the backup of a union. To tell us more, please welcome to the State Library of New South Wales, Tracy Tully.
Thank you, Tim. Come Fly With Me in a DC-3 is a most beautiful book, written in 2019 by my mother, Joy Allardyce, formerly Shipway, and published at the impressive age of 89 by Ultimate World Publishing. From Maroubra, it's befitting that we're launching Joy's book in Sydney, New South Wales. Dedicated to all the 1950s air hostesses who crewed the valiant DC-3 aircraft in Queensland and beyond. Brisbane TAA pilots demonstrated their good sense of humour in those days with this quote found on the wall of their crew room: "Better be 5 minutes late than dead on time." The DC-3, or Douglas Skyliner, took its first test flight on the 17th of December 1935. Designed to carry 21 passengers for overnight services in the USA. During World War II, US aviation manufactured 10,000 C-47s, the military description of the DC-3. After the war, Australian Airlines bought fleets of DC-3s operating passenger and freight services around the nation. I'm honoured to have flown in these mighty aeroplanes. The DC-3 was at home in the rugged Australian country, a reliable aircraft that demonstrated its superior standards of safety during its lifetime of service. On the 2nd of April 1949 in Brisbane, TAA acquired the Queensland and Northern Territory aerial services, Qantas routes, and they also acquired the Flying Doctor Service, now known as the RFDS. Post-war, the DC-3 was reliable, cheap to operate, with pilots and engineers in plentiful supply. There was also an abundance of spare parts from the military. In the words of Rob Fraser, ex-TAA captain, the only replacement for a DC-3 is another DC-3. It was the time spent working as an air hostess with Trans-Australian Airlines, fondly known as TAA, that lives in Joy's heart forever. With happy memories of adventure, she built incredible resilience from all these years, overcoming many challenges that presented during her lifetime. This book is Joy's recollection of her exciting years flying as an air hostess in TAA and the long-lasting friendships formed over her lifetime. And with your permission, I would like to read for you an excerpt. My mother's meticulous in her packing, and I'll show you, because she's taken a lot of work. When she packs, she sticks it down. She has a little sticker of a DC-3. Mum is 91, and she's very excited that I'm here sharing her book with you today. It's the prologue. It's Queensland in 1953. We were on the return leg of Flight 486/487, Mount Isa, Cloncurry, Julia Creek, Richmond, Hughenden, Charters Towers, Townsville, after leaving Mount Isa at 6:30 a.m. It was mid-January, and the summer, the heat was intense. The DC-3 was continuously buffeted by updrafts, fed by the ground heat, and passengers were not travelling well. Descending into Hughenden, on the hop from Richmond, the turbulence increased. So I checked that everyone was wearing seatbelts in compliance with the fasten seatbelt sign switched on by the captain. If the no smoking sign had also been activated, I too would need to be strapped in. However, I was standing at the rear of the cabin, keeping an eye on the passengers, when a man in the forward seat stood up. He stumbled towards me, clinging to the seats as his body swayed with the motion of the aircraft. I assumed he was heading to the lavatory. And when he drew level with me, and we were face to face, I asked, "Can I help you?" He opened his mouth to speak, but unfortunately, no words escaped, just a steady stream of vomit. I copped the lot. "Please be seated," I gasped. "We will be landing soon. There are sick bags in the pocket of the seat in front of you." And without a word, he turned and staggered back to his seat. A bottle of soda water partially cleaned my uniform. Even so, the smell lingered for the remainder of the flight and the tram ride home. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my mother's book. It's very much appreciated.